wicked like his father. He walked in all the ways of David, his father, and turned not aside to right hand or to the left.
Very good. So now David is the great of these guys.
Right?
No, it couldn't have been his father, but it says after his father because David is the pattern that God requires the kings to be like. Right. So in chapter 22, what did Josiah do when he heard the words of the book that the priest had found? In chapter 22, they are restoring some parts of the temple, and priest finds a book, and he begins to read the book. After he reads the book, some of the men of Josiah's cabinet, if you will, they heard it and they told Josiah. What did Josiah do after he heard the reading of the book? And it's found between 10 and 15.
Number 11, Pastor.
Number 11, what does it say?
And it came to pass when the king had heard the words of the book of the laws that he rent his clothes.
Rent his clothes. Now remember, now let's see, Manasseh and before Manasseh was Hezekiah, but Hezekiah's father was Ahab, and Ahab reigned. Now you have the 55 years from being dormant. Now remember, if you're reading in the text, Moses instituted the Lord's Supper, right? Passover. But after the kingships come in, you didn't hear anymore about the Lord, the Passover. So after he hears the message from the scriptures, he rent his clothes, and after that, where were we at here? Let me see how I'm gonna put this here. Verses 12, it says, and the king commanded Hilkiah the priest and Ahikam the son of Shaphat and Akbar the son of Micaiah and Shaphan the scribe and Asahiah the servant of the king, saying, go ye inquire of the Lord. Okay, when he inquired of the Lord about what to do, it says in Achiah, verse 14, and Achiah the priest and Ahikam and Akbar and Shaphan and Asahiah went unto Hudi, this prophetess. It was a prophetess woman, and they inquired about what they should do after they read the book. So what did she tell Josiah? What was told to Josiah from this prophetess woman? Let me read on. In verse 14, it says, the prophetess, the wife of Shalom, the son of Teba, and the son of Parshaz, keeper of the wardrobes. Now she dwelled in Jerusalem in the college, and they communed with her. In verse 15, and she said unto them, thus saith the Lord God of Israel, tell the man that sent you unto me. Now that's still Josiah, because he's wanting to know what's going on. Verse 16, thus saith the Lord, behold, I will bring evil upon this place. Now remember, God is upset with Manasseh because of the evil that he had caused Israel to perform, right?
Right.
Now he's telling Josiah this is the stuff that he's getting ready to do. He says, thus said the Lord, behold, I will bring evil upon this place and upon the inhabitants thereof, even all the words of the book which the king of Judah had read.
Mhm.
Because they have forsaken me and have burned incense unto other gods, and they might provoke me to evil with all the works of their hands. And we're talking about the stars, the moons, and all that. Therefore, my wrath shall be kindled against this place and shall not be quenched. In other words, whatever you decide to do, however long it takes, my wrath will not be quenched because it's going to happen, right? And I told you on last week, when God says something, it has to come to pass because he's God, right? May not come then, but it will come because he has proclamated that it would. In verse 18, he says, but the king of Judah, we sent you to require of the Lord, thus shall you say unto him, thus shall the Lord thy God of Israel, as touching the words which thou hast heard. Now, my question is, what did they say to Josiah that God would do for him? And I read 18, so it can't be anywhere else but between 18 and 20.
19 through 20.
What did it say?
Because thy heart was tender, and thou hast humbled thyself before the Lord. When thou hearest what I say against this place, and against the habitation thereof, that they should become a desolated desolation and a curse, and has rented thy clothes and wept before me. I also have heard thee, said the Lord. Behold, therefore I will gather thee unto thy father, and thou shalt be gathered into thy grave in place.
Peace.
And thy eyes,
peace.
grave in peace. And thy eyes shall not see all the evil which I will bring upon this place. And they brought the king's word again.
Okay, now he's saying that this stuff is going to happen.
Yeah.
But not in Josiah's time. Josiah's not going to see this stuff happen. But it has to happen because Manasseh has caused Israel and Judah to sin, right? So in chapter 23.
Can you tell Valerie that Deacon Hill can't get on?
Valerie. She muted, so she can't hear.
Okay.
Wait a minute, let me call her. More than one way to skin a cat.
Is that you, Deacon Hill?
I'm here.
Okay. Deacon Hill couldn't get on.
He said, let Deacon Hill on. Or let him in. Paul, when it's over with, call me. Son, Paul. When it's over with, call me.
Yes, sir.
You can hear?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you, Valerie. We're in chapters 23.
23.
Again, we've gotten to the point where we've discovered, again, there were always good kings and there were always bad kings. But every time a bad king would come upon the scene, God would judge those tribes. But now he's judging Judah and he's judging Israel. Both of them have sinned and they are in a backslidden state. Right? So here we're dealing with we're dealing with Josiah in chapters 21 and chapters 23. In chapters 22, chapter 22, they find a book that has been sealed up and the laws have not been adhered to. And so when they read the book, the Bible says Josiah run his clothes because he heard of the punishments that God would bring upon the people if they had done those things. And the same thing he told Moses. Again, the messenger changes. You got Moses, you got Joshua, you got Abraham, you got Jacob. The message never changed. The messenger may change, but the message never changed because God tells Moses to tell the children of Israel, if you comply to these laws, you'll be blessed.
Right.
Don't comply to these laws, the same plague or the same curses that I bring upon the heathens, I bring upon you. So he says, in other words, if you do what you're supposed to do, I'm going to bless you. If you don't do what you're supposed to do, I'm going to curse you just like I curse the rest. And that's the message. It's always the same. It never changes. So in chapters 23 of 2 Kings, Josiah has made a covenant. What is the covenant that Josiah makes with the Lord? Chapter 23. What is the covenant?
Number 3.
Number 3, what does it say?
And the king stood by a pillar and made a covenant before the Lord and walked after the Lord and to keep his commandments and his testimony and his servants with all their hearts, with his statute, with all their hearts and all their souls, to perform the words of the covenant that were written in this book. And all the people stood to the covenant.
In other words, they gave advent to it. They agreed. In chapters 23. Josiah comes in because, now remember, his father had rebuilt a lot of these altars and all this stuff, and he started back worshiping Baal and having these groves in the temple and all this. What did Josiah do to the altars that his father had made? It's found between 10 and 15. What did Josiah do to the altar that his father had made? What did Josiah do to the altars that his father had erected in the temple?
Number
14.
14?
I'm saying 14.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
And he brake in pieces the image and set down the graven and filled their place with the bones of men.
Now, those were the groves. Now, like I said, a grove is a female symbol. That's what a grove was. And it said, but my question is, what did he do with the altar?
To the altar. Okay.
The groves and the images. What'd you say?
Number 12.
Number 12, what does it say, sister?
And the altars that were on top of the upper chamber of Ahaz, which the king of Judah made, and the altars which Massa had made in the 2 courts of the house of the Lord, did the king beat down, break them down from thence, and cast the dust upon them into the brook of Kidron.
Okay, very good. Now, again, this is from Manasseh to Josiah. Manasseh is a evil king and reigned for 55 years. So you have these dynasties that were between 30 and 40 years. Those that were evil, they didn't think about God. Those that were good, they would have to come in and redo or take down some things, just like he did with Manasseh, his father. He had to break down the roads and all of those things because the people that gotten so far away from God that it took 5 years to do a lot of stuff. It took 5 years. But anyway, he breaks down these groves. So in chapters 23, what I want to put it. Blank. I see the question. Okay, what did Josiah, what practice Josiah orchestrated back into Israel's practices? That is not the way I want to put it, but I'm saying it right there. I'll think of it in a minute. But it's not between 1925. I just in my head. I still think that.
What was the question again?
What did Josiah institute or bring back to Israel remembrance? They had forgotten about it. They find the book, written in the book. They were always to a certain time. Or this certain
Be 25, Pastor.
24-25.
And like unto them, he was there no king before him that turned to the Lord with all his heart and with all his soul and with all his might, according to all the laws of Moses, neither after him across there any like him.
Oh, now my question is, what did he institute? They had forgotten about it. Now Moses instituted into their religious practices. So it was a religious practice that they were always to remember.
Was it the Passover?
Who?
The Passover?
Yeah, but where's it found?
Verse 22.
We said 22.
Surely there was not holding such a Passover from the days of judges that judged Israel, nor in all the days of the kings of Israel, nor of the kings of Judah. In verse 23 says, but in the 18th year of King Hosea, wherein this Passover was holden to the Lord in Jerusalem.
Very good. So the Passover. Now, again, remember what God told Moses. God told Moses to tell the children of Israel, always remember the Passover. Why?
Last Supper.
But why were they able to remember?
Reminded when he would return.
Oh, something happened.
When it brought him over, when they went over into Egypt.
Okay, but I'm saying the Passover. That's what I'm saying.
Oh.
Passover.
Oh, they wouldn't be killed. They wouldn't. The blood on the doorpost.
Very good. So that was to remind them that the death angel had Egypt, but they were passed over. So
Okay.
That's why he told the children of Israel to remember that.
Yeah, cross on the door.
Commemoration.
Yeah.
God allowed the death angel to attack
Pass
the
on.
horns,
Hmm.
but he held his hand over Israel. None of them passed, so he called it Passover. So after Josiah finds his book, he institutes Passover in their devotional or in their practices, because in verse 21 says that the king commanded all the people, saying, keep the Passover unto the Lord your God, as it is written in the book of his covenant. So there was a covenant for them to keep the Passover. In chapters 22,
23.
23. How old was Jehoahaz in the reign?
3 years old. 3 and 3.
How you say that?
Number 31.
31, what did it say?
Jehoahaz was 20 and 3 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 3 months in Jerusalem, and his mother name was
I don't.
Yeah.
Mutel, the daughter of Jeremiah and Limnah.
No, Jeremiah. Now, again, now remember, one king reigned for 2 years. Now, I guess the time span, I'm not sure why God is doing this, but it's always a plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's judging Israel because of what Manasseh did. So what he did, you know, he did things. Here, this king, Josiah's son, Jehoahaz. A lot of these names, like Ahaz, they were common names, and so a lot of parents give them those names. So we don't want to get confused saying, well, Ahaz is dead. Yeah, but there was more than one Ahaz in the book, so you can't remember that these names were common names, so that's why they more than one time. Okay, in chapter 24. Chapter 24. Now remember, God is getting ready, according to the word, getting ready to bring destruction upon Judah and Jerusalem. He said it's going to be so devastating that when they hear about it, that the people's ears will tingle. Remember that, right? So in chapter 23, who did God use to bring this evil upon Israel or Judah or Jerusalem? Chapter 24.
I'm barely hearing you, Pastor. Can you say that again?
Who did God use to bring this evil upon Jerusalem? I put it like this: Nebuchadnezzar in verse 1, he's doing it, but at whose instruction? I put it like that. Nebuchadnezzar, in verse 21, it says, in this day, in Jehoahaz, in his day, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon. Now, when you go back, remember, it says something about that in the first king, that he's going to use Babylon. So now, instituting this proclamation as it relates to Judah and Jerusalem. He says, Babylon came up, and Jehoiakim came, his servant, for 3 years. Then he turned and rebelled against him. Now again, God is always in the plan, right? So by whose instructions was Nebuchadnezzar destroyed Jerusalem? That's basically what it's saying.
Would it be number 2? And the Lord sent against him hands?
Go to verse 3.
Verse 3.
Now, again,
Surely,
he had Nebuchadnezzar, and these are allies of Babylon.
right.
One against Jerusalem and Judah. But it's at the Lord's hand. That's what I'm trying to get us to understand. It's at the Lord's hand. So verse 3, what does it say?
Surely at the commandments of the Lord came this upon Judah to remove them out of the sight for the son of Manasseh, according to all that he did.
For the sins.
And also for the innocent blood that he shed, for he filled Jerusalem with innocent blood, which the Lord would not pardon.
So this is the call again. Now remember, it's already told Josiah that this is getting ready to happen. So now in verses, in chapter 24, now it's coming to fruition.
Yeah.
Nebuchadnezzar, Chaldeans, Syrians, and the Moabites, the same nation that God pushed out of Israel's way. Now they become the stumbling block. In chapter 24, how many people were carried away in this invasion? How many people were carried away in Babylonian invasion? How many people were carried away in this Babylonian invasion? It's now between 10 and 15. How many people were carried away? Mother?
15.
15, wait, no, more than 15. Wait a minute, hold on.
Oh, wait.
16. I can hardly hear the pastor's question.
Yeah, me too. That's why I'm having a hard time tonight too hearing. Having a hard time hearing.
He had to move his setup to Sister Brown's house, his mother's house.
Oh, okay. That's probably why then.
Sorry about that. My brother. Oh, now what I lost. I lost my train of thought. Chapter 24. Okay. Nebuchadnezzar has come in. He's taken over. It's hard. Matter of fact, it took 2 years to really destroy it already to get in to destroy it. So how many people were carried away during this Babylonian invasion? I know it said 15. Well, Deacon Hill said 15, but that was I guess it was special. Where'd you find it at?
Be 16.
That's what it says 16.
And all the men of might, even 7,000 and craftsmen, and smite 1,000 and smit 1,000, all that were strong and apt for war. Even them the king of Babylon brought captive to Babylon.
Go back up to 14. Now, these were just,
Deacon Hill said 14. Go ahead, Dick.
And he carried away all Jerusalem and all the princes and all the mighty men of valor, even 10,000 captives, and all the craftsmen and smiths. None remained save the poorest sort of the people of the land. Then you number 15 it said, and he carried away Jehoiakim to Babylon, and the king's mother, and the king's wife, and his officer, and the mighty of all the land. Those carried he into captives from Jerusalem to Babylon. It's a continuation. It just ain't no one verse. You got to read 3 or 4.
To say who all went into captivity.
Yeah.
But I'm saying this all derived from the fact that Manasseh, again, when the king started doing what the people did, coming out of Egypt, that all stemmed from. Remember, every time God would make a proclamation as it relates to a king, the evil king, he would always say that he was always like Jeroboam. And Jeroboam was the only king that built statues to worship. And so the other kings started building these statues, God would always say, "You like Jeroboam."
Right.
Jeroboam was making these statues, and the other kings were making these statues. And so Manasseh gets to the point where he makes statues, and he called his kids to walk through the fire, and he put groves in the temple, and he put altars of Baal in the temple. And so Josiah, he cut off Baal. A king got 55 years to reconstruct what God is trying to get Israel to be. So you got good kings, you got bad kings. Sometimes you have 2 bad kings in a row. They do for worship, and nobody's talking about God. Everybody's talking about other gods. And so chapters
Reverend Brown,
6.
go down to the microphone
Go down to the mic.
and touch that arrow.
What?
And click to it should say FHD microphone.
I just select the microphone and say, okay. Okay, I clicked it. You good?
Can y'all hear him better?
No, it's the same.
Am I
Is that
grabbing or what?
FHD microphone, Pastor?
Who?
When you clicked on the microphone, did it say FHD mic?
Yeah, I hit FHD. First one said same as system. Again, when I hit the FHD mic, it did the same thing. So FHD webcam.
So we'll click back to the one that say same as system, because I know that's the one that is, the speakers are gonna be louder on the computer.
Okay, so y'all are not hearing me?
Barely.
I'm hearing you good, but they saying they're not. It's clear to me.
Oh, okay, and chapter 25.
Okay.
Chapter 25.
Okay.
Now, this king, Zedekiah, when he discovered that he can't defeat the Babylonians, he begins to run. So in chapter 25, who catches up with him? Then he's talking about the Chaldeans, he's talking about the Syrians, he's talking about the Moabites, and then he's talking about the Babylonians. So God got all these people coming against Judah and Jerusalem because of the king's error and causing the people.
Number 5.
Number 5, what did you say?
Number 5 says, and the army of the Chaldees pursued after the king and overtook him in the plains of Jericho, and all his army were scattered from him.
Takes him. Now he does something to Zedekiah, but anyway, it says here, after he kicked verse 5, it says, verse 6, it says, so they took the king and they brought him up to king of Babylon and Riblah. And they gave judgment upon him, and they slew the sons of Zedekiah before his eyes, and he put out Zedekiah's eyes, and he bound him in feathers of grass and carried him unto Babylon. And they put him in prison, right?
Yep.
In Babylon. Now in chapter 25, after the Chaldeans conquered Jerusalem, they started putting their own people in place. And so in place by the name of Gedaliah. They put him in place. Verse 22. And as for the people that remained in the land of Judah, King Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, had left. Even over them made Gedaliah, son of Ahikam, son of Shaphan, ruler. Now, after, y'all hear me?
Barely, but go ahead.
They make him king, right? Well, they make him governor. What happened to him? What happened to Jedediah after they make him governor? And he was telling the people, well, let me read on. Make him ruler. Verse 23. It says, when all the captains of the army, they and their men heard that the king of Babylon had made Gedaliah, governor, there came Gedaliah and Mespah, even Ishmael. Now remember, Abraham has a son named Ishmael. So know that can't be the same person. But again, these names were common, and so the people would always use the name because they were common with the tribes of people, or the tribes of people, right? Okay. Gedaliah governor became even Ishmael, the son of Nethaniah, and Jonathan, the son of Kareah, and Saleah, son of Ahumah, and the Tophathite, and the Tethonite, and the son of a Mashkite, and they and their men. Now my question is, what did they do to Gedaliah? What did they do to Gedaliah? He tells them, if Gedaliah swears to them, to their men, he said unto them, fear not, be the servants of the Chaldeans, dwell in the land, and serve the king of Babylon, and it shall be well. Tell them that. So what happens to him?
Is it 25, Pastor?
Let's say.
But it came to pass in the 7th month that Ishmael, the son of Natatish, the son of Elisha, Natatiah, the son of Elishma,
Got
of
that
the,
got that one.
huh?
Elisha, you got it.
Of the seed royal came the 10 men with him and smote Gedaliah that he died, and the Jews and the
I did.
Canaanites that were with him in Mesphat.
Okay, again, now he's telling them that they're already mad because they've been chased off from the land, and the Jedediah fellow is telling them to cooperate with these guys, but it's gonna be all right.
Yeah,
Only way it says why they did it because they said that they were the seed of the royal.
yeah,
In other words, each Jedediah shouldn't have been in that position in the first place because he was not of the royal seed.
right.
So they cut him up. Again, going down into the Chronicles, and remember, when we were reading, they said they died, they said the acts of what these people did are they not written in the book of Chronicles. So a lot of these things that they did, they're going to be talked about again in the Chronicles. Get more detail of what transpired with a lot of them. And he said that one king did this. But the Chronicles get to give a little more detail as to what they did. So again, I thank all you guys for participating. First Chronicles on next week if the Lord believes coming. Gotta take it one day at a time. One day at a time. Because yesterday came, doesn't necessarily mean that tomorrow will come. So thank God for what we have, for what He gives us this day. That's why we pray the Lord's Prayer. Give us this day our daily prayer. That's what He does. So He does that for us because He loves us. So, to the family, be encouraged and still praying that by August, y'all be in our building. That's what I'm praying for. I'm not going to go any further. I believe that's going to happen. I'm not going to say if it doesn't. I got to believe that's going to happen. So I ain't going to say nothing else until we get to that point. So if we don't pray, worry about it, don't pray. Pray, put it in His hand, and it's up to Him. I don't know, God, we're going to do something about the mic on this because they can't hear me. Everybody gone?
No.
You still here?
No, we're still here.
But it's hard to hear me though, right?
Right.
Yeah, I'm training here.
It sounds muffled.
Anyway, son, comment over when you get out.
Okay.
All right, family. We thank you guys. Trust that everything is well with you. If not, y'all need to tell us. We can try to do what we do. Can't do nothing else. Set in place. So let us have a word of prayer, then we'll be out. Eternal God, again, we come to the close of this service. Thank you for allowing us this opportunity to share word with the people. Let them know that historically, the Bible is an instruction. Show us what not to do. happened to those in history happened to us. Because God's word never changes. The only thing on this planet that does not change is God. So Lord, we thank you for keeping us. Thank you for giving us of our trespasses and our sins. Then we also gift that you gave us of allowing your son down in death on Calvary.
Yes.
Not magnified. I don't care how good we are out here, so even at our best, we'll get you up the rags. And so we thank you
Amen.
beyond our filth and strengthening us. We're not there yet. And certainly, thank God that we're not what we used to be.
Thank you.
So thank you for the Leath family. Pray for their help, pray for their strength,
Yes.
and for their family members, those that may be out of our faith. Continue, family, to pray for your loved ones, that the Lord would allow them to come to themselves. And remember this, somebody pray for you.
Amen.
Necessary to pray for somebody. And your will be done according to your riches and glory for you. To this name, we ask these things. Amen.
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 Hopefully, on next occasion, we'll have not try to go back up to the house. Up to mother. Okay, family, nothing else. Be blessed.
All right, Real.
Good night.
Yeah.
Hey, Reverend Carter.
Hey, I see Reverend Carter. I don't think he can hear. All righty.
You got to connect via computer audio. Touch the microphone. Reverend Carter.